Hello and welcome to the adventures of two gamers. I'm Ultimon, and on today's episode of Golden Oldies, I will be reviewing the pioneer of modern online first-person shooters, Battlefield 2. I will begin with some basic information, then proceed to comment on some gameplay that I recorded earlier, and then I'll give the game a score out of 10. Okay, so I'll start with some basic information about the game. Battlefield 2 is a first-person shooter that was designed and developed by the Swedish gaming company Digital Illusion CE, or DICE. It was published by Electronic Arts in all major regions in 2005, and is the third full game in the Battlefield series. Okay, so during this game's run, it had quite a couple of expansion packs, such as Euroforce and Armored Fury, which basically just added some weapons and map packs and things like that. In the gameplay, players fight in a modern battlefield using modern weapon systems. Battlefield 2 is a first-person shooter with some strategy and RPG elements. The single-player features missions that involve clashes between US Marines, China, and the fictional Middle Eastern Coalition. The multiplayer aspect of the game allows players to organize into squads that come under the leadership of a single commander to promote teamwork. The game sort of does have a story. It's not really a story, but I'll give you the basic rundown. The story takes place in the early 21st century during a fictional world war between various world powers, such as China, the European Union, the fictional Middle Eastern Coalition, or the MEC, and Russia. And also United States. In-game, the European Union and the United States fight China and the MEC. It is known that in the game stories, the EU and the US are allies, and the EU has negotiated a peace deal with Russia, but it is unknown if China and the MEC are allies. The game takes place in different fronts, such as the Middle East and China are being invaded by the US and EU forces, and the United States is being invaded by Chinese and MEC forces. Now, a fact that probably most of you know, Battlefield 2 was oh, I think I just ran myself over there. Battlefield 2 was succeeded by quite a couple of games, but most recently, Battlefield 3, which is quite a very... Hey, you just stole my car. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just gonna do some commentary on what I'm doing now. I really like being a sniper in games like this, like classic games like this. Some gameplay elements you may remember of, that might remind you of modern games, is basically aiming down the sights, which, you know, until recently wasn't really that big an element in first-person shooters. Games like Halo and Half-Life are a pretty good indication of that. In gameplay, you basically choose a class. There are quite a couple of classes, such as Assault, Special Forces, Sniper, Anti-Tank, that sort of thing. If you've played Battlefield 3, you know that that's been condensed. There aren't as many classes in Battlefield 3 as there are in Battlefield 2, and each class in Battlefield 2 has different weapons and abilities, such as the Sniper has a sniper rifle, a pistol, a knife, some grenades, and some claymores, which basically you need to utilize to the best of your ability if you're going to take out your enemies as well as you can possibly try. So here I'm just taking out some Americans. They're on their base there. Good thing about having a sniper rifle, it's really easy to just take them out from a distance. And this Battlefield 2 was made before the era of super realistic games, such as Battlefield 3, which everyone who's played Battlefield 3 knows that it's extremely realistic. Its whole purpose is to be extremely realistic. Battlefield 2 is realistic for its time, but as you can clearly see, it's nowhere near as realistic as Battlefield 3. And if you have played Battlefield 3, you can definitely tell the difference. But it is still pretty realistic for its time, as I said. You have all your weapons and you go around killing people. It's a pretty regular formula for first-person shooters. I'm playing on the game mode Conquest, right now, which is where two teams have to fight to control all the control points. And yeah, if you lose all your spawn points, well then you can't spawn anymore, can you? And basically your team wins the game. So I'm just running around trying to find if there are any more soldiers around. I can't find any, which is a shame because I really like killing enemy soldiers. But unfortunately I can't. I'm just checking here whether I can't find any soldiers. But, yeah. So my allies seem to be get into this car and see what I can find. Oh god. Sorry, I apologize. I'm very, very bad at driving in some games. Like Halo, I'm really good, but Just Cause 2 and Battlefield 3, it takes a bit of getting used to, and you know, I'm just on the lookout for any enemies. I think, seeing as we control the majority of the control points, if not all of them by now, I'm pretty sure we would have won the match. Conquest matches can be very, very short or very, very drawn out. It really depends on player skill, player quantity. Alright, so we win. The Chinese team has won the round. So I'm just going to cut now to a different match, and this time I'm on the same map, but I'm playing as American Special Forces. Basically I'm just gonna sneak behind enemy lines and take out all their soldiers as much as I can. I quickly realise that gunfire doesn't actually carry that far, and oh god, there's a tank. Okay, just gonna hide behind this pole. Hopefully it won't see me. Reminds me, the AI in this game were probably pretty advanced in 2005, but there are some much more advanced AIs now. Damn. Okay, so I'm dead, which is a shame. It does have quite a lot of respawn times, which is well, thank you, buddy. And that is a very, very good feature of the Battlefield series, which I very much like, and that's being revived. The medic class can revive other dead soldiers before the respawn. Oh, I don't think there's going to be a medic this time, which is a shame. Yeah, the respawns in this respawn times are really, really long, but you know, you get used to it. It's not that bad. So I'm just gonna head out to the same area again. I won't stop until I have cleaned out the enemy forces. So running around. This is a pretty good game. I enjoy it. Although I'm pretty sure there was some ported versions for Xbox. And things like I think that was the only console besides Xbox. I think that's the only one. But they were really cut down versions of the games. With a lot of games, actually, the PC version is often the one which is the one you're meant to play. It's the one that they put all their time and effort and energy into. It's much easier to update and things like that. It's a strategic option for developers, and especially for a game like this, Battlefield 2, it was quite important that they get all their content across. So just taking out all these Chinese forces around with my cool weapon. I'm going to try and knife him. Now the knifing mechanic in this game is quite screwed up, as you can see. It's quite weird, and enemies don't have blood. We're in a parallel universe where actually dust comes out of your body, a large majority, quite a large portion of dust, which is weird. You know, if you've played other games in the series, later games in the series, and other first-person shooters in general, you get a feeling of familiarity with this game. It feels really familiar. It's not that different from everything else, and you find that you start to use tricks that tricks and things like that you apply to other shooters, like drop shotting and things like that. It's just the sort of things you do. You just start to adopt modern techniques of this sort of thing. It just goes to show how modern this game is compared to some other ones. It really was a pioneer for online first-person shooters, and as you can see, it is quite a very fun game. It's nothing quite like playing a game like this. It's a classic first-person shooter, and it really shows. I mean, Sure, there are other games in the series that are much better, like Battlefield 3, and the Call of Duty series is very good. But you know, when it comes to classic first-person shooters like this, you can't look away from Battlefield 2. It's just pure classic, and it's really, really good. I mean, they've done everything they can. The music's really good. The graphics are pretty good. The gameplay is pretty much perfected in this case. So yeah, I think now it's pretty much time to wrap this thing up. Okay, so on today's episode of Golden Oldies, I am going to be giving Battlefield 2 a score of 7 out of 10. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in to Avengers of Two Gamers. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Golden Oldies, and I wish you a good day, and I hope you come back to watch other shows that we have and other episodes in this series later. Ultimon out.